entire experience was a miracle. This was a miracle.
The whole process was a miracle.
Absolutely, it was a miracle.
Miracles do happen. These people have seen them, have lived them. Their lives and families were each touched by a Franciscan Alliance miracle. Rebecca Casper, a healthy 20-year-old college student, found her life suddenly in danger after contracting a perfect storm of serious infections.
I started to feel not so good. I had a tightening in my chest, I had 103 fever, and they told me I had mono. And a week later, I ended up in the hospital.
Rebecca had a combination of mono, 2 strains of strep, severe pneumonia, and toxic shock syndrome, which collapsed her lungs and shut down her kidneys. She was placed on a respirator with 4 chest tubes, kidney dialysis, and massive amounts of antibiotics.
For that to happen, your immune system has to be really, really weak, and mine was.
For me, it was personal because I have 3 teenagers myself, and I would look at them and think, you know, this could happen to anyone at any time.
The Casper family spent 3 weeks waiting and agonizing.
It was awful, I'll be honest with that. It was an experience no mother ever wants to have. At some point, she was hooked up to 18 different type of things. It was pretty scary just to walk in the room, but they had that all completely under control, and they were so compassionate with us.
It was a team effort from day one with our intensive care unit.
They were wonderful. Those doctors were there numerous times a day with us. They hugged us, they held our hands, they were fantastic.
The best part about the whole thing was being home for Christmas. I missed Thanksgiving, so I really wanted to go. It was like the best feeling in the world.
It truly was a miracle with Rebecca and the whole Casper family. And to think that St. Margaret had a hand also with that, and all the doctors as well.
I thank God every day that I have Becca. I thank God for that He healed Becca. I thank God for the staff at St. Margaret's. They were wonderful to us.
Faith Byers, a young woman pregnant for the first time, found herself and her baby both fighting for life.
I was pregnant in November and ended up having some pains caused from a gallbladder. I had surgery January 23rd, and that following Thursday I was diagnosed with preeclampsia.
Preeclampsia during pregnancy threatens both the baby and the mother. The only way to cure preeclampsia is to deliver the baby, even if it is drastically premature.
They told me it was either me or him, so they ended up delivering him by C-section.
He actually was born very early, and that is actually defined as extreme prematurity. He was born around 26 weeks.
He was born 1 pound 5 ounces, 11 inches long. And they told me they didn't know if he would last through the night. I thought I was gonna lose him. I can't talk about it. It makes me sad.
Emotionally, it always is a challenge, I'll be very honest. It is very, very hard. At the end of the day, you are always thinking about those small babies.
And he ended up having a collapsed lung. He had to go on an oscillator, so things weren't looking good. It devastates you too, because you see a family trying, these kids trying really hard, and then something terrible, tragic happens.
Clayton spent 4 months in the NICU, gaining strength and weight.
I was there every single day, did not miss one day, sometimes twice a day. I couldn't even imagine leaving him.
I took care of Clayton every single day that I worked since he was born.
Nurse Patty went above and beyond what we even expected any nurse or doctor to do for us. She would even Facebook me just to tell me how he was doing.
The doctors and nurses at St. Anthony, they were fantastic. It's just like family. They still are.
I definitely think deep down that Clayton was a miracle, and I think he's gonna go far.
Clayton is our miracle baby.
Candace Voiles, an active and energetic 23-year-old, never thought she would suffer cardiac arrest at such a young age.
I just came home from work, and James and I, my fiance, were talking about remodeling the house, and I actually just collapsed.
He immediately, tried to do CPR the best I knew how, and I got color back to her, and once I did that, I knew I had to get help.
The EMS team restarted Candace's heart, but by the time she arrived at the ER, there seemed to be other problems.
We thought that she looked like she was already having or had experienced some brain damage.
They explained that they needed to get her hypothermia treatment.
Lowering the body temperature helps to reduce the inflammation that a patient can experience by the heart restarting after cardiac arrest. For Candace, it took 4 hours to get her down to our desired chill temperature, and then she's maintained at that temperature for 24 hours. And then after that 24 hours, we do a slow rewarming process.
As Candace emerged from the coma, no one was sure what to expect.
It was, very nerve-wracking. I was, my stomach was in knots.
Once I saw that she had moved a little bit, I went in and said, "Candace, squeeze my hand," and she did. And it, still, it brings tears to my eyes. It's such an amazing feeling.
The cardiologist diagnosed Candace with a condition called long QT syndrome.
Her heart is actually resting too long and then firing at the wrong time, and it threw her into a fatal rhythm.
I feel completely the same as I did before everything happened. It's a little safer knowing that I have a pacemaker defibrillator just in case something happens.
We spent a lot more time together. I'm a lot more protective of her.
I believe everything that I went through was a miracle.
And so you were outside and active and able to...
Everyone at St. Anthony's, they did everything they could to make sure that I made a full recovery, and I did, and I'm very grateful for everything that they did for me.
You're welcome.
What happens if you desperately need surgery but are too sick to survive it?
I was diagnosed with stage 2 lung cancer. My lung was completely removed. After 4 courses of chemotherapy, the cancer has been in total remission, but shortly after I was released out of the hospital, I noticed that I was having extreme pain in my legs.
We couldn't get halfway through the grocery store, and he said, I gotta go to the car. I can't walk. So that's when he knew something was up.
We went in for a CT scan, and that's when they noticed I had severe stenosis of my abdominal aorta and my iliac arteries, both left and right.
There was no question that he was truly in trouble. If we were not able to restore blood to his legs, he was at an increased risk of being subjected to amputation.
When I heard about his blockage and then that there's a possibility of him losing his legs, it was devastating to me.
They said that with the way my heart was, that I would be no way able to go on an operating table and be put under. Thankfully, Dr. Jones was able to just put me in like the twilight stage and had me on the table for almost 5 hours.
I was able to relieve the blockage in his aorta, reestablishing blood flow to both of the legs, and by doing that in a completely non-surgical fashion, he derived tremendous benefit from that.
It was just night and day to me because the previous week before, I couldn't walk across the parking lot. Now all of a sudden I'm walking and no pain at all.
He outwalks me. I can't keep up with him.
Sure, you look fantastic. How are you, sir?
I feel fantastic. The quality of care at Franciscan Physician Hospital was excellent. I have never really met such caring people.
There's nothing more rewarding for me than to be able to intervene in a patient like that and get a really good outcome.
It was definitely a miracle for me to just turn around and be stronger. I am a totally different person. I'm a champion again.
Throughout the Franciscan Alliance, our people bring a spirit of care and commitment, excellence in training, and passion for service to patients and family. St. Francis told his brothers, preach the gospel at all times. If necessary, use words. How we heal, how we serve, and how we bring comfort and hope to others is our way of preaching the gospel. That's why miracles happen here.
I'm a miracle.
He's a miracle.
I'm a miracle.
I'm a miracle.